Abiogenic origin of life. Observations on systematic activity of molecules caused by intermolecular bond in carbonated water including iron fine particle. The video of background on the carbonated water with iron powder was photographed by using OLYMPUS TG-4 at super resolving zoom mode. Microscopic thermal motion exists in all substances. Here, the activity of creature is unified with the molecular level by intermolecular bond. The state of each electron adapts to the circumstance. The molecule in a living body behaves systematically by the intermolecular bonding force. If reactions of the environment of chain reaction repeats, the chain reaction is reproduced. Autonomous control is not achieved in only one kind of reaction in an organization. It is controlled by another reaction, which occurs at the neighborhood simultaneously in the system. The cause of very small flickering image is difficult to distinguish among the microbubble and the flicker noise of digital camera. Therefore, the video to present from this time becomes less noticeable of the flicker noise by the process of blurring. Observations of the formation of intermolecular bonds. The last stage of thawing ice of carbonated water was photographed from top view by LED lighting, and putting the black paper under the glass. Camera OLYMPUS TG-4 was used for this photographing at the maximum magnification of 44.4 for the monitor. The replay is expanding the time axis 8 times in slow motion. Moreover, the process of gradation, which makes flicker noise inconspicuous, was carried out. This is the last stage of thawing ice of pure carbonated water. The bubble is able to move inside of the thawing ice. The bubble is formed by intermolecular bond under the interface condition. The intermolecular bonding force becomes strong by its alignment. Some bubbles adhere mutually by intermolecular force. The grouped bubbles may unite into one. The flickering image of bubble can be caused by movement of itself and movement of the water. There are bubbles which contain small bubbles. Synergistic effect disappears by destruction of a part. So, the whole structure will collapse at once. A bubble has a lifespan. Following video shows bubbles. Those are generated at the bottom of the glass container after 15 hours, from mixing fine powder of the iron with carbonated water. This condition was considered as an environment for the birth of first creature. That is, the temperature of seawater was low for carbon dioxide dissolves, and iron was injected from some marine volcano concurrently. The photographing was carried out by using the same camera at the same conditions, and the condition of replay was also the same with previous presentation. These bubbles of carbon dioxide are generated after several hours from iron fine powder is mixed with carbonated water. The iron particle adheres at the membrane on the bottom part of bubble. Some bubbles move to the bottom slowly. The bubble brings iron particle to the surface of the water slowly. The floating material is accumulated in the water surface. Moreover, a light isotope carbon C12 is accumulated in the floating material. The iron substance moves downward along the membrane to the bottom of bubble. Systematic movement of a molecule will occur in the state of liquid water. There are blurred images of bubbles. These images have rotational movement. This movie was photographed on the surface of water after 27 hours later from the mixing. Here, the fine powder of iron meshed 300 and the carbonated water were mixed. The photographing was carried out by using the same camera at the same conditions, and the condition of replay was also the same with previous presentation. The video was photographed after 27 hours later, from mixing iron powder with the carbonated water. Thermal motion of a small area in floating matter can be observed. This presenting video supports following view. That is, there are the oldest trace of activity of life at 3.8 billion years ago in the stratum at Greenland Asia area. Chemical reactions occurred in the floating materials of the sea at 3.8 billion years ago, because ultraviolet ray from the sun was irradiated and the atmospheric gas molecule collided. As the result, the carbon in the floating matter containing many light isotope carbon-12 became their graphite, and iron oxide had formed banded iron formation. It was reported that Mars meteorite AL 84001 possesses a microscopic egg-shaped and tube-shaped structures. There were small carbonate particles, which were wrapped by iron compounds also. Such substances contained in the Mars meteorite may be formed by the carbonated water that contains with iron. Because of intermolecular binding force, there are localized thermal motions in the floating substance. The unit of thermal motion in thin membrane is wide. That in the thick floating material is small. The activity of life was caused by intermolecular bonding force. The first stage of the activity of life can be occurred on the floating materials. Those are produced from carbonated water mixed with iron. Conclusions. Observations on microscopic and systematic thermal motion of the intermolecular bonding material, which was produced by adding iron fine powder to carbonated water, were carried out by using slow motion replay of the microscope mode video. The microscopic state of substance is always changed by thermal motion. But, thermal motion in a living body is organized as one system by means of intermolecular bonding force. The arrangement of a molecule is changed in the living body. The replacement of a joining molecule changes the intermolecular bond. Concurrently, the electronic state will be adapted for the surrounding situation. Iron fine powder contained in carbonated water produces intermolecular bonding materials. We can observe the localized systematic thermal movement in these materials. It is considered the similar place for the birth of first life. Thank you for your attention.